Hello everybody and welcome to my August bullet journal plan with me video. Before we get started today, I quickly want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I'm so excited about this and I will tell you more about them later. But now it's time to take out our bullet journals and start this video by flipping through the previous month. I had this minimal bamboo and panda theme on July, and this month, as usual, I have so many new things I'm excited to share with you. So let's start the August planning from the next empty page, and the first thing I want to do on my cover spread is to make this whole spread wide watercolor landscape painting. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and now I just finally decided to try it out and see what happens. So as I told you on my last video, I've wanted to practice more with watercolors, and I've now watched some videos about it, trying to learn different techniques and some basics I never learned before. And this time I was super inspired by Peter Schiller here on YouTube. He does these line and wash type of landscape painting videos, and I really wanted to try out something with a similar style myself. So after taping down my paper, I'm quickly sketching something here with a pencil first, just to make clear where everything is going to be placed on the paper. And then pretty soon I'm starting to make the line work with my black micron pen in the size 01. If you pay attention to the way I'm drawing these lines, you can see that I'm trying to draw them in these fast, bold motions. I wanted these shapes to have this loose, almost angular appearance and not to look too perfect. I could have used slightly more precision on the lighthouse. It turned out a bit crooked maybe, but you can't really notice things like that on the finished painting anyway. So my theme this month is very ocean inspired. I was thinking about the water and beaches and different decorations related to those. And I also focus a lot on the color story this month. But after I was happy with the lines, I began to work with the watercolors. I started from the sky and I actually used this one same flat brush for this whole entire painting. Partly because I enjoyed the challenge to use only one tool, and partly because I was too lazy to get up and find a different brush. We can all decide what was the real reason here. So firstly, I made the whole sky part wet. I'm especially trying to avoid the lighthouse, and then I started to paint the sky with the wet on wet technique. I tried to list all the main colors I used for each part of the painting to the screen. So on the sky I had this blue grayish color in mind with some pinkish hue on the horizon to add something interesting here. And I wanted to make the sky look really soft. That's why the wet on wet technique is a good way to go. I had to say I used new paper for me for the first time, and it sucked in the water a bit faster than I'm used to. So I had some problems with it. Also, half of the time here I had no idea what I was doing, so this guy didn't really turn out exactly the way I imagined. I just need way more practice with this soft look. But anyway, the main focus for me here was the variation in the colors. I kept adding darkness slowly as I was progressing with this whole painting, but after having a good start with the sky, I moved on to the water part. The flat brush worked surprisingly well here with the water. I was able to make these thin horizontal strokes very easily, so I used it especially to add the darker blue on the water. I also left some spot completely white, as you can see, because I think it represents the waves or just the light hitting on the water surface very well. Also notice that here I'm using the wet on dry technique because that makes leaving those white areas possible. Otherwise the paint is just gonna get everywhere with the water. Again, after progressing with the water a bit, I moved on to the land part. I used a lot of brown here, and I also mixed in some blue to certain areas, kind of to tie the colors together with the sky and water. But yeah, I wanted to have this rocky appearance with the land, so I tried different methods for adding the shades to the ground. The lighthouse and the small house here were a bit of a problem for me, to be honest. I didn't really know what color I wanted to use for those, so they ended up looking almost the same color as the ground. That wasn't really my intention and I wasn't that happy with it, but maybe next time I'll try to be more careful with the colors. However, the rest of the painting process is just adding more and more shading and darkness, and I just kept going as long as I was happy with the final result. So I thought it would be the smartest option to cut the painting in half so I could glue it the most effortlessly onto my notebook and also be able to close it after doing that. But after that I just wrote August on this area on the sky that I initially left lighter, and I also finished things up with this small August calendar. And yeah, I guess that's all with the cover page. I had my struggles here, but I really ended up liking the end result, especially the colors. So I was so happy I decided to challenge myself once again and try something new like this. Okay, I'm sorry we spent so much time here on the first spread, but now let's keep going. So this next page will be for my monthly calendar and some overview stuff as well. So I started by writing August on this first page. If you're not new here, you see me doing this fake calligraphy style font many times before, where I just make the downstrokes a bit thicker than the upstrokes. This is a super easy way to take your normal handwriting to a new level. Then continuing that ocean coast theme, I drew this anchor behind the title. I think an anchor is pretty easy decoration. You don't really have to be that good at drawing to create something like this, and I actually made even easier version of an anchor onto the next spread, so I think this might be a really fun idea to add to your sea or coast themes. I colored the anchor mainly with this super light icy blue, and then I deepened up some of the shadows with this darker blue that I also used as my accent a lot in this monthly theme. Then I drew this medium-sized August calendar, which is enough to write some things down from your month. I think I will use this at least for my plant watering reminders. I've noticed that I probably should track that again. But as I said earlier, I made this theme a lot about the colors, and I've had this idea to combine this darker grayish blue with this light pink, kinda as I did on the previous painting. There's something super nice and summery in this color combination, and I don't often do many colors on my journal, but I guess this month I just wanted to try out something new. On the next page, I'm first drawing two boxes. The first one will be for my important dates on August, so here I might have a bit more room to write down some plans I will have. And then the other one will be for my content list. This usually means keeping track of my short Instagram videos, which I try my best to post throughout the month. I saved the bottom of this page for another beach style decoration with some seashells. Well, I guess the other one is a starfish here, maybe? I don't really know what the word seashell includes. Anyway, there are so many different types of these that you could draw if you would like to add more of them. I just drew these two to keep everything pretty minimal on this page. And as I did on the painting, I also lined these with a black pen and then colored these with my brush pens. I used the same colors here as I was using on this page anyway to tie everything together, but I also added in the light brown for the sand. I think the most difficult thing to draw here was the water. I wanted to have this appearance that a wave is reaching the beach or something like that. So again, while drawing water, try to keep in mind where the white areas are and where you should have more shadows. Throughout this month, I tried my best to find some ways to incorporate the pinkish color on all of these spreads, and I think this drawing was a pretty fun way to do it. But now that we have our monthly spread ready, let's flip to the next page. So as I mentioned earlier, here I'm starting by showing an even easier way of drawing a small anchor. I'm using the same blue brush pen to draw this, and it kind of became part of my title decoration. I think this title turned out super cute, and you could use the same idea for many different kinds of symbols as well, so it doesn't have to be an anchor. I also used this loose style of font on the title. So the purpose of this page will be for tracking my 2 projects or focus areas, whatever you want to call them, on August. The other one will be continuing my master thesis, and the other one will be for finally figuring out how to open an Etsy shop for some printables from my journal. I'm so grateful some of you have been asking about an option to buy these spreads. It seems super unreal to me, and I want to do it in a right way to make sure the quality is the best I can offer, so I didn't want to rush with that idea. Anyway, back to this spread. So on both of these boxes, I first have a few lines to write down my goal or idea about that project, and then I will have some room to list some action steps I can take. I will try my best to really break these down and make so small and easy steps for myself that it doesn't feel too hard to get started on these. I've noticed that by breaking things down, it's so much easier to get started on something you've been thinking about. And if you struggle with similar things, just remember that getting started is the most difficult part of every project, so making the starting point as easy for yourself as possible might be a real game changer. Then to make myself accountable and sure that I'm actually gonna do what I planned, I'm adding this 15th check-in box to the bottom of this page. So in the middle of the month, I will have to check in with these goals and write down how did I progress until then. I've realized that this has been super helpful for me in the past. Not only I force myself to look at the things I wrote down again, I will still have time in this point to motivate myself again about my goals if needed. And then on the next page, I used the same title style and left this whole page for some random ideas and thoughts. I didn't really know how to decorate this page, so I left it empty for now, but I think I might add something here later, maybe in the bottom. But if I will do that, I will make sure to share it with you on my bullet journaling Instagram. So yeah, this was a pretty functional but nevertheless really important spread in my opinion, and now let's move on to the first weekly spread on August. I wanted to change things up here as well, and I haven't done these vertical boxes in a while, so I wanted to bring them back. So the top of this page will be served for these boxes. All of them are 7 dots wide, and you can really modify the height to fit your own needs. It really depends how much room you need for each day. Then I kind of wanted to add something new to track, so I added these daily mood boxes. I'm planning on probably drawing some kind of emoji here, or maybe if it feels more natural, there's even room for one word to describe my mood on the day. So yeah, I haven't been huge with mood tracking in my journal in the past, but I guess every now and then it's a fun idea to try out. Then on the bottom, I'm adding my small habit and sleep trackers. I guess this is already the 3rd month I'm using these same trackers, but they just work so well for me, and I also like how they look. I use these small symbols for my habits, and I track stuff like doing yoga, studying Japanese, writing, reading, listening a motivational podcasts, completing my to-do list for the day, and so on. Then the end of this other page will be used for my weekly diary that I've tried to make a habit to write on Sundays. Sometimes it happens on a Sunday, sometimes it happens on a Tuesday, but I've still tried my best to spend at least a little bit time to reflect the past week. And after that we can move on to the last page of this month, which will be my August review page. I usually skip the pages where the other weekly spreads of the month will go, because for me that order just makes more sense. But because I'm an idiot, I didn't remember to do that this month. Oh my god, I was so annoyed when I realized that, but there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to lose this page for that reason, so I will just write the other weeklies after this page. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, I started this new routine last month where I'll draw these spectrums with opposite ends, and then in the end of the month, when I'm filling in this page, I can reflect the month a little bit and see what was my overall energy or feeling about that month. I'm super interested to see how different months will compare, so I'm planning on keeping up with this routine. I think having long-term things like these might really help you to keep yourself motivated with your bullet journal. After writing down all of that, I chose 2 questions for this page as well, which will help me while reflecting to the past month. So the first one is simple, what's on my mind? And the other one is, what did I learn? I think that's always a great question. Always learning something new is really important in my opinion, whether it was a big or a really small and simple thing. On the next page, I tried something new again, so I made this list for, I don't know, some favorites of the month, I guess. So what was I listening, reading, eating, drinking, playing, and watching on August? I think it might be fun to look back to a list like this after a while, and of course you can modify these however you want. Then of course we need to add our mandatory animal drawing of the month, and with an ocean theme I thought a happy little dolphin would be a perfect match. I could also use all of the same colors on this as I did earlier, so I thought it was the perfect animal to end this theme with. So as always, I started by looking through some pictures of dolphins to study their body structure a little bit and to figure out what kind of pose I would like to do. I chose a one that's jumping from the water, and I just started with a pencil sketch that I actually, for once, didn't follow up with the black pen. I wanted to keep this painting / drawing softer, so I jumped right in with my brush pens. I also used this technique earlier on the seashell drawing, where I used some of these pens straight on the paper as they are, but some of them I'm making lighter by using a colorless brush pen blender. I'm dampening the blender very lightly with water to make much softer strokes with the brush pens. They can be pretty harsh applied straight to the paper, so this method really makes such a difference and makes your brush pens so much more versatile. I promise you, buying a blender like this instead of many different colors will save you a lot of money. But yeah, back to the dolphin. So they have this almost classy wet appearance on their body, so I tried to achieve that by leaving some areas white here. Then I added some brown and later pink details as well, because I thought it added a bit more variation to the colors, and it kind of looked like the body is reflecting color from somewhere. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really liked how it looked. Lastly, I drew the water, and again I added this pink hue to the horizon. Okay, so that was all for the dolphin, and before doing the final flip through of the pages, I quickly want to tell you a little bit about Skillshare and what they are offering for you guys. So Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different classes covering everything from illustrations and fine art to graphic design and even productivity. I've taken a few courses about watercoloring there, and I feel like I've learned so many good tips by following the lessons. I have so many courses I want to take from there, but I especially enjoyed this one with some modern watercoloring techniques. She showed some really interesting methods I've never seen before that I want to try out in the future. I will leave this course name to the description bar, so if you decide to go there, you can check this out as well. And what Skillshare is offering for you is a 2-month free premium membership that gives you unlimited access to all of their courses made by experts on their field. And also, if you decide to stay subscribed after the 2 months period, the annual fee is less than $10 a month. So you can get 2 months free trial by clicking my link in the description bar, where I'll also add all the information I just explained here. So that's it about Skillshare, and again, thank you so much for them for supporting my channel. It really means a lot to me. But now we can get back to do the final recap on this August layout. I'm pretty happy with this month, even if some pages were a bit more simple. I think there was a good mix of a little bit easier and more complicated decorations this time, so I really hope that there was something here for everyone. And if you're new here and want to stay tuned, please consider subscribing to this channel. But that's it guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope all of you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and see you in my next one. Bye bye!